a little bit easier to control and supervise and look after it a little bit better that way. But it's still a work in progress. The catalogue is still kind of a work in list, and there's still work to be done, but at least we can kind of look after it. So the collection is divided into kind of three main areas. So you've got your personal library, which is in our reading room, which you can go and browse in a moment. So that we do kind of we have specific opening hours, and then people can come in and browse that collection, so they don't have to request things in advance. The archive papers, people do need to request in advance because it's in our archive stores. So annoyingly, our reading room and stores are in separate buildings. We are connected by a little walkway, but it's a bit awkward. So that's part of the reason that people need to request it. But it's also to make sure that we have got the material. So we do loan things out for exhibitions. It's to make sure they don't make a wasted journey. And then we have the objects as well. So there's a number of different objects. These two machines I've got out so you can have a closer look in a moment. Some of them are sort of personal objects, medals and things like that. Others are things that he made. So he's quite well known for making the sort of three-dimensional models and things like that. And so there's a whole sort of range of different things within there. Just wanted to point out that there is access to some material online as well. So if you do want to find out a bit more afterwards, that's our collections webpage there. So I'll give you some leaflets in a moment that'll have the URL, I don't think, so you can get to that. There are some digital images online at the moment, but they may be moving, so I haven't pointed to them exactly here, but they're linked at the moment in the webpage. There's also a series of videos online in our data repository. So this is from something called the Falcondale Collection, which is a series of videotapes that he made in the 90s. And essentially he went to a hotel in Wales with a group of students, I think 20, 30 students who are completely new to cybernetics, and just had an intensive sort of, I'm not sure how long it was, but quite a few days, intensive kind of workshop where he just talked through all of the theories and his own personal thoughts and things. So it's basically 9 videotapes of him just talking and taking questions from the students. So there are the videotapes are digitised and online, and the transcripts are there as well, so they're searchable. So if you want to find out a bit more about his work in project servicing, then you can just search for that and find a little bit. So they're very informative, and it's nice to have been able to put them online so people can access them from wherever they happen to be. So that's, I was just going to quickly introduce you to things, and then I'll show you things so you can have a look and have a browse. But does anyone have any questions immediately at the moment?
Is there any chance getting into the basement?
Yes, you can do that because it's lovely
I think Lou particularly would like to see some of this stuff. So.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So if we go into the reading room first and have a look around in there, and then on to go into the basement.
When was he in Chile?
Pardon?
When was he in Chile?
So it was 1971 to 73 was the project. I think the first contact was 71, I think. And at 73 is obviously the coup.
It was Allende who invited him,
Right.
Yeah.
and the CIA who brought him.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
So it's been partially operational, they've kind of tested it.
Right.
And the strike by the lorry drivers, I think it was, that was kind of backed by America, that they tried to sort of break things down, and they managed to survive through that using cybersyn, using the networks they'd already made.
Right.
So it did work,
Yeah.
and so they've managed to do that, but then when the coup happened, it just, I think, I've heard they've got an armed guard on it for about a year, because they didn't really know what it was.
Yeah.
And the operation through that, I don't know, they thought it was weapons, I'm not sure, but it was destroyed eventually, but I think they just weren't quite sure what it was to start with.
Yeah.
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 So there's a whole range of documentation to see Chile from the initial visit and all the work on the project, but then also immediately after the coup, where he's writing to different people and trying to get people out of the country and make sure they're safe and things. So,
I mean, the question was, how do you organise a Marxist economy without hierarchy? How do you do it in a way which isn't hierarchical?
Yeah.
And that was the whole idea of using technology to create people say, well, actually, you've got an operations room, it's still higher up. But that was not, you know, it didn't work quite like that. It's not quite what it is. They did it with telex machines, mostly. That was their information system. And they had a computer for, obviously, computer in 1971.
Yeah. It was, I mean, the whole idea was like way ahead of its time. Just actually trying to think of operating things. And a key part of it was getting real-time feedback. So you'd get feedback from the workers so that you could measure satisfaction levels as well. So you'd get economic data, but you'd also get satisfaction levels from workers, so you could kind of change things accordingly. So that was a key part of it, was kind of looking at people, not just the economic data as well.
So is anybody doing that now?
The Soviets actually tried to do it before beer. When the Soviet computing event, when the Soviets eventually got cybernetics and they unbanned it, they probably knows this too, but they tried to. They had a very economic management focus to their computer science. They had very different kinds of computers that they were developing at the time, and they had this idea. It was something that they tried to do in the 50s, I guess.
They were using analog computers as well.
Yeah, they were doing really weird stuff. And eventually, of course, they ran out of money and they just copied IBM, and that was the end of that. I mean, the answer is no. But people are you're getting a lot of international interest here because this is one of the few attempts to try and think differently about how we organise our society. It's extremely important.
Well, especially getting more and more important by the minute at the moment.
Absolutely. And also, you know, we had a discussion yesterday about how we organise our own discussions. Colleges of university science and so on, all of these organisations. Beer is certainly knows how to say about all of these things.
So yeah, I mean, so are there people working here who are actually using?
There are people who are interested. I don't know whether they're necessarily working towards implementing cybernetics at this stage. But yeah, we've had a lot of interest from lots of different parties, different people from different countries as well, who are kind of looking at it and looking to apply the principles in sort of different fields as well. So not necessarily kind of government aspects, but it's more.
I mean, how can I mean, are there sort of names that like links? I'm going in November, I'm going to a social food folding conference. That's to do with like Steiner's ideas of economics, which is separating the political, economic and cultural worlds. And so again, and the idea, so it's equality in politics, fraternity in economics, and freedom in cultural.
That's very interesting. I'm just wondering if there's any Steiner in food language. I bet there is.
There used to be an annual cybernetics conference which was organised by the Cybernetics Society. And Tony Booth was one of the members. Tony Booth.
No, he's good. He knows his stuff.
So he knows that.
Really?
Yeah. So
That never came out in any of the times that he came to Amber.
I would never have imagined that.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
very
there are
interesting.
simply people quite elderly now there.
Right.
So Nick Green was the guy I
Yes,
was in contact with, but
You know Nick, do you?
I do, yes.
He
Yes.
can't be gone around with that little Robin Hood fellow.
What?
Tony Booth.
Oh, Tony's hat. His
Yeah.
sole distinguishing feature. He calls
No,
it
I mean,
himself.
this is like really important in
Yeah.
terms of, capitalism is just kind of like,
No, this
keeps
is really
failing.
important. This is really, really important.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there are cybernetic societies. The UK Cybernetic Society hasn't had too much to do with the American Society for Cybernetics. It's a much bigger thing. And Lou obviously is very but
I think the Cybernetic Society stopped holding their annual meeting, or it became biannual altogether. It kind of, I can look up the name of the last chairman. All the fact checks were online, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
there was a friend of yours who passed over a few years ago, wasn't it? A couple of years ago. He came and talked.
Right. Yeah, he came.
Right, yeah.
One.
That's it, yeah.
I gave a talk at Cybernetics 2008, meeting in 2008, so these people.
that's where I heard about you first.
Oh, that's right, that is, yes. Yeah, from Italian Library, so that's the connection. Yeah. Okay.
Should we go?
Yeah.
So basically, there's stuff that's out on display,
Yeah.
and then
And there's book
we can
collection.
organise
And
a visit over the road
Yeah.
into the bowels. The bowels are really extraordinary.
So we need to go the other way.
This is
kind of a nice thing.
yeah, it's they call it the Cybernetic Cafe, but it's probably overselling it a bit. It's kind of a refreshment area, really.
There's a picture of Stafford Beer.
Yeah. And these are all taken.
It's the youngest.
Younger Stafford Beer. Some of these.
But yeah, that's only something on Varela over there. I've only discovered more recently. I didn't know about that at all.
I love that.
But this whole thing, certainly, because I was going to ask you about John Torday, because embryology is another thing of mine, so I was saying to me I should talk with you.
What tour day is
It's about connecting teams, ideas, interconnections between different nodes.
Right.
But there's a lot of nodes. I wonder what the
They
nodes
use
are.
the polyhedral patterns to organize groups of conversation.
Do you think outside you like culture?
I think you outside, like I see.
There's not much room in 3D outside.
So if you think metaverses are full of stuff like that.
Some people think that, don't they? Is this one of his pictures?
Oh,
Yes.
right, I mean, it's one of those patterns.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Icosahedron, we've got the model in the room, so the original model.
I've seen it before.
Is that a photo?
So,
Yeah.
anyway.
Is that a photo of the model?
No, it's the actual physical model.
No, is that the photo?
Oh, well, it's not a photo, I think it's a computer generated image of it, but it is the Icosahedron that we developed for that project, yeah.
Yeah, well, that
So if I get a feather in this hat, are we going to fall out?
Look at John Ball's unit. Doesn't, they're separate.
Oh, it is separate.
But next to us, each other physically.
Yeah, I noticed that.
this out on Saturday?
So I believe this is the original model. They're very low, but he used
Maybe
to get
touch it.
he used to get
Great.
students to make their own one with cocktail sticks and sweets, which I've done with group. It's not as hard as it sounds actually, but he was trying to get them to think three-dimensionally. It's one of the things that's in the videos as well. So the idea of this is for a project called Teams Integrity, and the overarching idea is that you want to get 30 people together to solve a problem. So each of these struts represents a person. Each point represents either a topic or a meeting that they all get together to discuss. So each person goes to 2. But they also supervise 2 others. So that's what these colours in the middle represent. And the strings show how they're all interconnected. So the idea is that by breaking the overarching problem down into these different topics and getting people to work together, you can solve any problem. And it's called a syntegration event, and it's like 3 to 5 days. So you have these 30 people all together as a kind of process. But the reason he chose this structure, partly because there's no top or bottom, so no one's any more important than anyone else. It's very anti-hierarchical, but also it's supposed to be a very strong structure. And supposedly, if all the strings are connected properly, which they're not at the moment, but if they're properly connected and tense, it's supposed to be so strong that you can sit on it. Obviously, I'm not going to test that, but they're not connected at the moment anyway. But that's the idea. So
What's the material?
Don't worry, it's always popping out.
Is it wood? Or
Yeah, they're wooden dowels, I think.
Oh, right.
And then just I don't know what these connectors are from, but yeah. So that's the overarching concept of it, and we've got the leaflet for that project.
That's the overarching concept, but the 12 nodes, do they represent something fixed or are they variable, the 12?
I think the
Obviously
idea is
people are variable.
at the beginning,
Yeah.
you're supposed to, you have like an event